Hello and welcome to the first episode in a series of C# tutorials. Let's start from downloading and running Visual Studio. I will provide you with a link to download it below the video. Then we need to create a new project. Let's head to the top left corner, File, New, Project. In this window, we make sure to choose Visual C# on the left and then pick Console App with .NET Framework in brackets. We can choose our application name and project folder destination here. After the project has been built, we can see some code on the screen. Namespaces are like containers holding data. We can import them in other places of the code. We can import namespaces with the word using and then typing the namespace that we want to import. I will explain classes later in the tutorials. For now, let's just call it a recipe for our program. In this recipe, we need to include how to make that program work. And finally, we have our main function. It will execute our code that we put into it. Let's start by displaying text on the screen. For that, we use a function that will display given texts. It's called console.writeLine, brackets, and put a semicolon at the end. Now, in between brackets, let's put a quotation mark, type hello world, and another quotation mark. So, what's gonna happen if you try to compile and run this program now? The program just closes shortly after displaying hello world. It is because our main function doesn't have anything more to do. At that point, it just closes down. We can fix this by placing a function that waits for a user's input. Let's use console.readline with brackets and a semicolon at the end to make the program wait for user's enter button. Now we can actually compile and run the program to see our text. The text will remain shown until the user presses enter. Let's picture a variable as a box to which we can put some specific type of data. We have a box for letters, for integers, for logic values, true or false, for example string, int, bool, and many more, which we won't cover here, but are available on the official C# documentation. Each variable has its own unique name in a class. They allow us to store some data, manipulate its content with various functions, use them to check and compare things, and so on. We can also ask the user for input and then save it in a variable for further use. Let's create a variable of type string. It holds text data. You cannot use this to compare numbers to count. Numbers are like letters in a string. They don't have any mathematic value. To create it, we need to write down the type of variable that we want, in this case string. Then give it a name which we'll use to reference this particular variable. My string variable will have a name box. Let's assign a value to the variable. Write the name of it, an equal sign as it means assigning a value on the right to a variable on the left, and then the value on the right, which in this case will be hello world. Don't forget the quotation mark when assigning a string value, and a semicolon at the end of the line. Now, instead of displaying text hello world, let's tell our writeLine function to display the content of the string. Remove quotation marks and the text itself in the brackets, and put the name of the string variable, which is in my case box. If we run the program, the result is similar, but now we are using a variable and we can manipulate its content at almost any time.